Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Nuggets podcast. My name is Nazrin.
Hi Nazrin.
Yeah, I have Hanafi beside me.
Hello.
As usual, we have Ami. And today, we're going to introduce our guest, a podcaster as well.
Really?
Oh,
Guys, she's a lone ranger.
Really?
Someone who I've been following for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I would say I had the highest utmost respect into, doing everything herself. Because I know the hard work of, doing podcasts, and
Yes.
us three also struggle at times, achieving
yes.
the numbers especially. So we'd like to welcome Liena from DNL Podcast. Welcome.
Hello guys, thank you for having me here. Hello Babang Nuggets, how are you?
You're good.
Good.
Alhamdulillah.
Nice to finally see you guys.
Yes. Except, the last time was what?
Yeah, last
Pod
year.
Connect?
Pod Connect last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time I think.
Yeah, that's a long time
Yeah.
ago. Correct.
Pod Connect.
Connect.
Liena, so for our listeners who don't know you, how would you best describe yourself?
How I best describe myself? Well, I would say
Girl next door.
definitely not girl next door.
That was the answer that we got from
Girl
our previous.
in your nightmare, maybe. I would say, hi guys, I'm Liena from DNL Podcast. And I am, I think, the longest female standing podcast
Ooh.
in Singapore for now.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know which one is the button. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, betul.
Effort.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for like close to like 3 years or it's like 4 years.
3 years. Oh, yeah.
Mashallah.
About 3 years. Yeah. 3 years ago, that was after the Clubhouse
Yeah.
thing. I
Correct.
think I know you from Clubhouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct.
And then that time you guys started one podcast, right?
Yeah. Hartapot SG.
No, before that.
No, I was
I thought there was one more. Then after that, Hartapot SG.
No. We started with Hartapot SG.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean because we were in Clubhouse and then kita feeling kan kita ada we have our own weekly talk show they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know lah, session and feeling lah
Yeah.
basically. And then from there on we're like, let's try podcast lah, just try. So that happened. So we started with Hartapot SG. I was with 3 other guys who's no longer doing podcast right now. Okay, and then after that,
Still in good terms?
yeah, still
Okay,
very much in good terms. And then after that, who was I with then? Okay, and then one drop off, and then the other drop off, and then was left with me and Don. That's why at
Don
that point
Midon.
of time, Don Midon. Then that's why I named it as DNL. So DNL initially it represents like Don and Liena.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Initially.
Baru tu. I just,
After that, Don pun jadi busy. I think because he's a father anyway.
Yeah.
After that, I was just like, okay, now what am I going to do next? Then Azena came along. It started also because I've never spoken to Azena before that. So
serious
even when
ah?
we started our podcast for a good 4-5 months, we've never met each other.
Oh, what?
So how it started was because DNL had a collab episode with her then podcast.
Okay.
So I was like, okay lah, Mina ni not bad lah, her banter. So I think at a point of time I was covering like GV or something. And then I said, do you watch GV? She said, yeah, okay, so get on the episode. And then just melekat.
Right.
So but when she got in, then I was like, okay, then DNL is not fair lah.
Yeah.
Right? But I told her, okay, stay put. I didn't want to change the brand name. I said because at that point of time,
Difficult to get
not even
numbers.
get macam at that point of time there was some artists in the recognized DNL because I was covering a lot of entertainment scene kan. So like people like Mazdo, Liza Hanim that recognize the brand. So I said, okay, never mind. Let me find a good meaning to DNL.
Yeah.
So later on I realized actually when I and Azena or even myself when we talk, you don't know what you get out of us. So that's how after that I relabel it to do not label a podcast, so it's still DNL the podcast. Yeah.
Do not label
not
the
label.
podcast.
Correct.
Okay. How's your journey so far in the past 3 years?
Painful. Painful. Then people would say that si Liena ni maybe she's the one who's problematic because everyone who does podcast with her like leaves. But actually if you've done this for quite some time, you know that you need a lot of passion and perseverance to really persevere on. So but I don't blame my ex-partners because life happens. They have one more kid, they have like macam more stress at work and they just cannot continue. So but pula for me, when that happened, then I go like, am I going to stop now? But I don't want. Something inside me said, you cannot stop. It's either you find someone or you just go. So that's why, after 2 years odds with Azena, and then we decided to I decided macam it's time to stop recording virtually. I was recording virtually for the longest time.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, never mind, let's move to a studio. But when we decided to do that, Azana has other commitments, so she's not able to follow suit with the plan. And then left aku alone lah. Then I was just like, what now? So I was like considering whether should I have a new partner, or can I do this alone? But also at the back of my mind, chemistry and energy is a huge thing for me. I didn't want to just settle for just anyone.
Yep.
So I said, tak apalah, maybe I do it alone. Like I understand myself better on how I work with things.
Yeah.
But that also gives me the opportunity to collab with more people, like podcasts. So that's why, I've been getting like some members from the podcast scene macam just to come in. So we'll banter about topics. They don't really come in as guests, but more of like macam sharing ideas or sharing of POVs of things. So I think so far that's been good. So I'm not really in a hurry to get partner unless Shana Samad pindah Singapore ke aku buat podcast Singapore.
Wow, Shana Samad
Kalau bukan Shana Samad, I tak nak. Yeah, so that's how it's been.
Okay. Painful journey. Yeah.
Painful.
Like just now, Hanafi mentioned before we start the podcast, the three of us, we ourselves are struggling. So when you mentioned that you are doing it alone, we really understand your pain.
Yeah. Very, very pain, guys.
Yeah. A lot of people think, start podcast senang. Actually,
if you guys can see the setup behind here, and then the after
tu painful sangat.
the editing some more.
Correct.
Yes, yeah. And then the three of us, we bootstrap.
Okay.
Like we started with just our focus,
Handphone.
right? And handphone.
Yeah.
And then we slowly moved to all three iPads, and then got the mic, and then it grows lah.
Yeah, slowly. It
But
took some time.
it took us 1.5 years to get here. Yeah. But for you, now that you have been for 3 years running the podcast, right? Like, where do you see DNL
Going?
Going.
First things first, I just believe that for DNL kan, I'm not really keen to be in the competition with anyone. So for example, right now, as much as there's so many podcasts, that's present right now, and there's also a few female podcasts coming up, right?
Yep.
I mean, of course, you
got
do.
one more coming up. I don't know if you saw.
I think it's already out.
Is it?
Yeah. I saw the reels earlier.
Is it?
Yeah.
The one, the husband also is a podcaster.
Husband. Wait, no, I mean not this one. I saw another one, female one.
Yeah.
So there's another one.
Later we will share with you.
Okay.
Kalau dah ada husband dah buat
Of-cast.
female.
They're off-cast, guys. So aku lupa apa aku nak cakap.
Amin.
Where
Come on.
DNL is going?
Where? Okay. So for now, this is like barely 6-7 months I'm in the studio. So far it's been good. Like I've been having a lot of interesting guests. I think moving on, I'm pretty much comfortable still doing it alone for now because I feel free to ask whoever I want to come to my podcast.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and then like I said from the very beginning, when I moved to the studio, I really want to have it like a talk show kind of concept. I think I know a lot of people like for example, you guys have a niche whereby it's more to business setting, right? For example, myself, I'm very comfortable with covering entertainment, especially local scene. As if you remember when we were growing up, there's a lot of things on TV like HMI with Zack Zaina and everything.
Yeah.
But I think currently it's been lacking on that. So and then I started with covering a lot of like overseas show from Malaysia. Until one day it hit me. I said, Asal, why am I so bothered about overseas Malaysia show, but I'm not covering my own local show? So that's when I'm like, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel so fake at that point of time. Macam, okay, there's so many good local shows, and then I'm the kind of person macam it doesn't really sit well with me when I hear people say that there's nothing to watch the Malay channel, like it's not fun anymore. There's always something nice to watch. It's just that I think you already set on your brain macam okay, nothing nice to watch, so that's why you go to the overseas channel. So with that said, I'm really still gonna focus a lot more on the entertainment scene. And then just more on talk show concept lah. But I hope to have macam maybe in a year's time, I want to have like a show whereby perhaps I can collaborate with other female podcasts, where we will do like a female day out kind of setting whereby it can be a talk that covers many aspects about how to be macam how to earn your own money, and then some things that maybe we don't really much focus on here in Singapore, macam talking about the stress and everything, how they manage, because sometimes people just expect wives to just be home and attend to the family, and you just be okay. You just think that their mental capacity is okay, but I think that's why I think I want to touch a bit more on. And macam kira macam just have a setting whereby female can get together regardless whether you're in the corporate setting, you are housewife, just mingle around. And doesn't mean macam you're the housewife you cannot mingle around with people in the corporate scene. For all you know, when you mingle, you'll be like, hey, actually, you know, my kids are big now. Maybe I can get back into the scene and all that. So that's that. I mean, we hope to have that kind of healthy macam events going on. So at least, you know, I can collaborate with the other female podcasters also.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that your current demographic now? I mean, we have seen your community that you have built. It is woman-centric, and I think it is of within that age range of
Millennials.
early 30s to mid 40s, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's my stats.
Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, that's around the macam kira you're right. That's the age group that listens to DNL quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good range lah, macam whether they have left the scene, they have left the working scene maybe because they have a family and if they want to come back. So inshallah soon also I'll be inshallah lah. Doa for me, I got like a potential sponsor coming in.
Inshallah.
But the concept that we are going to do is a bit different.
Okay.
Like usually we know we will talk about their products. But this one we will come in another angle, which you should watch DNL later on to find out more.
Okay.
So usually orang jual products, right? So we coming with a different angle.
Okay. We will continue to watch DNL.
Thank you.
Let's backtrack a bit about Liena. When you were younger, how were you like? Why did you eventually decide to be someone who is right now starting your own business?
I would say
Why tak?
while sis Google.
Okay, siap ke?
Apa ya ke korang? Excuse me.
Go tarik secondary school. How were you back then?
Okay.
Yeah.
Back then, I would say that I grew up in a setting whereby I had no choice but to mature earlier than my age.
Okay.
Because I'm the eldest in the family, and then my sister is 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
And then I have another brother who's like 12 years younger than me.
Oh.
Okay.
Jauh sih.
So that's like 86, 89, 98. Okay.
98
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So while we were growing up, unfortunately my father was diagnosed with kidney failure when my younger sister was only 3 months old. So he was very young then. But of course it affected his career. You know, I think tak salah he used to be like a tour guide or something like that.
Okay.
And then because of his penyakit, you know, for kidney patients they have to go for dialysis 3 times a week, right? So of course that didn't work with the employer. So he had to change his job to macam be a taxi driver. Jadi, you know, we had a stall whereby he's a very good cook. He's a way better cook even than my mom.
Okay.
So he had a stall back then. So we had to adjust to a lot of things whereby it's either he's hospitalized or he's going for treatment. And because of that, he could only do jobs that cater to his timing. So for example, taxi driver.
Yeah.
Okay, so but because of that also my mom had to work harder. So she was taking on shifts that paid more lah. So obviously night shift.
Yeah.
So when that happens, when my dad has to be out driving his taxi, my mom was working at night.
Yeah.
At that point of time, I have no choice. Even at 7 years old, I was at home taking care of my 4 years old sister. So I think because of that, naturally I'm like a bit more gung-ho. I had no choice, right? I said a bit more gung-ho, a bit more protective in that sense. And maybe the mindset is a bit different. Like I'm forced to be strong in that sense. But it's a good thing. Macam pada aku, when I reflect back on all that, I think that makes me who I am right now. Like I face challenges with a positive mind. Of course, we are normal human, right? When something happens, you'll be down for a bit, but I do not let it go past like a day or something like that. But because of that, I feel that you have natural leadership skills.
Ah, okay.
And since then, and even since young, macam even back in school, I've always loved doing things like pidato, public speaking, debates, everything. So the character wise on why probably I stepped into podcasting is because of that. I just love to talk. So and then of course along the way when I was already macam working, I attended courses like macam Academy Radio, both Malay and English. Then I realized it's something that I really like to do. I don't know at the point of time whether I wanted to be a DJ like for the radio, but definitely for sure I know I want to do something that needs me to talk lah. So that's that. And then when podcast came about, then I'm like, okay, interesting, you know. But even before podcast came about, I've always had macam a liking for
talk shows.
Talk shows is one thing, but also macam even though I was earning something more comfortable as in I'm being paid like as an employee, I always wanted to do something outside that. So I dabbled also. I started a bit also with at a point of time, just for a short period of time with my best friend. We did apparel for plus size women.
Okay,
So for that's quite a bit. But it was taking so much of my time, and then my best friend was getting pregnant one after another. So we could not really spend time at that point of time.
Yeah.
But soon, inshallah, if everything is in place, I might get back to that because I feel a bit comfortable. And of course, if you ask me right now with my current listeners, my current community, I believe I can also cater to them in that sense because I know that most of them are women. Actually, 60% are women.
Yeah.
So that's the direction I want to go back again lah. But there's something macam it's just a natural feeling Like I want to do something that I don't want to let go of my job yet.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking of ways on how to earn more.
Yeah.
I don't want to be comfortable in a setting whereby you get paid at the end of the month. Okay, I'm good. Pay your bills and then live happily. I think because I like to go out there, interact with people. So if let's say at a point of time when we had the plus size business called Caramel by FW at that point of time.
Okay.
I love it bila kita kat expo because I just mingle with people. My best friend is a bit more quiet, but so I just be out there lah. I can be talking for 8 hours straight and aku tak penat.
Okay.
So it's just something I like to do. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this come out a lot. Like whenever someone faces a lot of challenges when they were younger, somehow they enjoy that adrenaline rush.
Yes.
Starting a business, like. Do you think that is actually a toxic trait?
I don't think so that it's a toxic trait. I think maybe because I think when we were younger, say for example for those who like maybe went through like what I did, we are so used to handling so many things at one time.
Yeah.
Like for example, maybe in my case, okay, I have to take note that my father is sick, my father is not well, so macam you have to take note when he balik dialysis, watch out for any symptoms. At the same time, caring for my younger sister and everything. So I think from young, you already molded in such a way whereby it's not balik sekolah, do your homework, go to bed, revise. No, you have to do a lot more things. So I think as you grow up, if you leave that, macam something is like empty somewhere.
Yes.
You're like too free, you go where
True,
you
that's
come
true,
back.
that's true. Yeah.
So I think it's just a natural mindset thing. I don't think that's toxic. I mean, some people are okay with going to work, earning a living, come back, and that's perfectly fine. But there are some who think that okay, with my time I can do something a bit more. So that's not wrong lah.
Yeah. Like for me, I think during the time we spent a lot of time in Clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't working, so I was really bored to death most of the time. And then like I keep thinking like, what should I do? What should I do? And then at that point of time, I took out a bit of my investment. So for that 1 year, I didn't really work. And then I was like thinking like, is this retirement life? Like, is it boring like this? You know, and if I want to go travel or what, also, I mean, I'm married, I got kids, right? So I can't be traveling alone all the time, right? So yeah, that was an issue, and that's the reason why the year after that, this started. My other business also started, and yeah. And I also did 2 different jobs. So I got 2 jobs, 2 startup that I was running. Yeah.
So it's just some people they're happy being busy. I think like we are that kind of people lah. Macam sometimes when you're too free, I think your mind goes macam a bit negative, macam okay like ni je ke macam nak buat benda ni je, macam aku cannot just sit quiet for too long.
So you can't sit still.
I cannot.
You need to look for some activity.
Yes, something. I just have to do something.
Just wondering, will this activity that you suddenly think of, will it be a money making activity, or you don't mind like doing anything? Like
initially,
watch TV or something.
No, cannot. Initially dulu, I feel that macam I'm okay with that. But I think as we grow older, and then the reality of living here in Singapore, right?
Not cheap.
I think you just gotta push yourself. Macam okay, you got a bit. It's not to say we have free time. No, actually we don't have the free time. Like sometimes work keeps us busy, and then for example we do podcast. Sometimes we barely have time. You know, but it's just that macam we are looking for that time, like do I have a bit more time to do this? But I feel that personally, once you set your mind to something, for example, okay, I think I can spend a bit more time to do this. For some reasons, the time will just open up. Whether it means by you losing a bit more sleep, that's also something. But I don't know, but self-satisfaction, aku rasa you feel that way lah. Like for me, I do feel that way. Like sometimes I just get maybe like, for example, macam maybe if let's say the guest for that week cannot record on the usual day that I can, but they can do maybe 2 or 3 days just before the app is out. So that would mean that I will probably get only like 4 hours of sleep or 3 hours of sleep. But penat like macam ting tong gitu. But after that you'll be like, but you're so satisfied lah. And then you just like there will be a day I'll tell myself, okay, today nobody bother me, I just want to sleep like that. But that's just one day. Lepas tu cycle happens every week is something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hustle.
Yeah. And as just now before the podcast we spoke and you shared where you are working. It is a MNC. You know, it is a big company. Don't you feel like you are juggling too much, considering you are having a
huge responsibility.
a huge responsibility at work?
How much is too much?
That's the question.
Yeah. I think it's quite subjective in that sense because sometimes people think that I've done 8 hours work is enough. So I think, but again, like I said, it's not wrong for those who feel like that because maybe they have a better work-life balance than I do. And at that point of time, maybe I think benda-benda gini also, I think it really depends on which stage of your life you are. Like for example, if people with family, of course, I think it makes perfect sense that they want to make. So for example, my previous partner, Azena, that sometimes is even hard for her to commit because of that. And I perfectly, respect that, because family comes first. But maybe for me, I have a bit more time because, I'm not married, I'm still single and all that. So I think this is how I just want to, I choose to do things to make the good use of my time lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for our listeners out there who are actually someone who is holding a
Permanent full-time.
permanent full-time job and they want to start their side hustle, what would be your best advice for them?
I think we as humans, kita tend to overthink. We overthink too much. But if you already have set your mind to something, for example, and you know that you're really, really passionate about this, the thing is that before you even make the decision whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, right? For example, to do or not to do, you got to be really certain that this is something that you do. The Malays call it not semangat seminit. Okay, it's not something that I'm going to do it. Let me try to do it for like a month. If I don't like it, then okay, I'll just give up. I think we should have the mindset of I'm going to give myself at least 6 months to try first. Like if it's good by a certain standard, I mean you can put your own standards to it, your own benchmark to know whether what is successful. That's why I always say that I always relate it to in podcast world. Some of them relate being successful to being in the top 5. Like each podcast should always have their own definition of success. Like for example, DNL also our definition is different. So, but once you think that, for example, 6 months is something that I can push myself to try to do it. Once you put your mind at it, just go. I would say that just go. I think that's the concept, usually the principle that I have for myself. If I think and I know logistic wise, I can do this. And there's nothing that during the thought process that will go what if maybe cannot, as long as I don't have that, I know I will just go. If you are doing something right now with your your normal day-to-day job and you really want to try something, I would say just give it a try because you never know what would happen out of it. It can be super successful and then and of course you will enjoy the fruits of your labor, or if let's say you try to dabble with the idea and then you don't go through, like a year, 2 years down the road, you go like, what if I had done that? Maybe for all you know, in 2 years time, whatever you think about it, sekali benda tu meletup. It like booms, and you be like, what if I had done it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I should have done it.
Yeah, should have done it.
Have that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, for example, in the podcast setting, like when we first started, of course, the main OGs at the point, OLG lah. Like OLG versus us. Of course, you know where you stand. So I think to know where you stand is also very important. Like sedar diri is very, very important. Because when you have that kind of realization that you are going against like the OGs, you are kinder to yourself in a sense to say that, I know my stats will not be like them, but what can I do to be like them, and what is okay. But also, I think as humans also it's normal whereby when you see your stats are low, you'll go like, not worth it. If I were to be like that, I would have stopped the podcast like long time ago. And then like even when we did so for example from Hartapur SG to DNL, of course when Hartapur SG you have the dynamics of a man, so kawan-kawan, their friends also listen. After that we go to DNL with me and Don. Of course at one point of time like the stats were low lah. But never once I felt okay lah, it's not worth it, I'm going to stop. Because I think at that point of time my passion was bigger than anything else. Like I know this is just what I'm good at, and I was telling myself, I think in a way of course you don't but of course I think the other thing that I go through so I'd like to manifest things in my head a lot. So for example a lot of things that for example the past 2 years that I manifest, alhamdulillah I managed to achieve it.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
What do you manifest?
okay, something very basic. It doesn't have to be something so big because pada aku is stepping stone. That's why I said I'm not in competition with anyone because I set my own standard. Okay, say for example, when I was covering a lot of the overseas scene, okay, so I posted. I said, I thought Azana, I said one day Mazdo will recognize us. True enough.
Yeah.
I achieved it maybe in about 2 years, not so early. And then after that, okay dah, tu macam for fun lah. Kira the fun idea macam, if an artist recognize you and then like even without you tagging them, they know who you are. So that happened to me recently at a Mazdo concert. I was bringing my niece to take a photo. Like, hey, Liena, right? Liena, I listen. Bila dia check, dia listen. Aku macam bullshit dah ni. Macam bedek sih. Then he said something whereby, so after that when I took pictures with them, I said, hey please lah, why not macam one of those days when korang in Singapore, do drop over my podcast. I said, because I do have the listeners who really want to listen to you guys. Like, I have some listeners who listen to me because of you guys. So he said this, tapi aku tak boleh nyanyi. Because if you know my podcast, I always close my episode with a song. So that means to say that I listen to you.
Dia tahu.
So it's not the macam blind support kind. It's more like, okay, you listen to me.
That means their watch hours is actually 100% lah.
Correct. It's until the end.
Yeah, to the end because you end it with that.
Correct. So he said that. But tapi aku tak boleh nyanyi. Dan like, okay, macam terpegun lah, macam maintain cool sikit lah. Chill sikit. Macam, kau dengar? Okay, gitulah. So that was that. That was the first one. The first thing that I manifested to Azana. So Azana punya manifestation was like, one day Imran Ajmain will come to our podcast. So he did. That's why I called her back on the app, even though she's no longer with me. And then the next one that I did was, okay, so I was, aku ni, I'm hantu stats. I like to look at stats like every day to see how I can improve, like where I have improved, where I macam dipped. So last year, honestly tak banyak. Okay, my place is not really that big like at the point of time. So I said, it's okay, improved but still sikit. I said by the end of 2024, I want to increase by kira macam 100% lah. So if let's say at that point of time, my total place for the year was like example 10k. I said next year I want to hit 20k. Yeah, I hit 120%.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, okay lah. So I think manifestation ni, you to manifest things macam it's not for you to feel good about yourself. Tau. I think it's like also a goal whereby you're trying to reach it. And then so every month I will review my stats.
Wow, every month
Okay, to be honest, aku crazy. I look at it every week actually.
Okay.
Because I want to know like what apps my listeners suka, like, and then macam is it this kind of guest they don't suka and that kind of thing. But also macam to me is a constant reminder monthly that you have to do better, because your target is this. So can you push it better, something like that. So I don't know lah. I like to give myself that kind of macam realistic goals. So I think it's achievable because I do in bite size. Versus macam okay, it's in December, right? Then December I'll talk about it. I'll think about it, for example.
Okay. One last question before we end the first part. See, it came out of my head. Tengok ah.
Meanwhile, while he's figuring out what's the question,
Yeah.
for the audience, you see, like Liena has really actually give like a lot of business advice. You know, one of the time is start small, just go ahead and do it.
Go je.
And then the second one was don't set unrealistic goals.
Okay, that's the thing that I want to talk about.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So you started about 3 years ago. At that point of time, competition wasn't that much, and there was that role model, which is OLG, right? And you did mention about you need to set a certain expectation of yourself.
Yeah.
But if that is your role model and you don't have anyone that is basically supposed to be your next step, how do you decide what is that next step for you?
Okay, is it when I say they're my role models? Yes, but in what sense? For example, if you're talking about their stats, I know it would take a long time before we can reach. I think it would take a long time before anyone can reach them because they already came in. They came in the podcast scene as celebrities.
Yes,
we are nobodies. You see, but I think the goal that I set for myself, or rather, macam when I look at them, for example, as a mentor in the podcast scene, it's more like their delivery. If I cannot even do what they deliver, how they deliver, I should just dream of having that kind of stats, you see. So I think it's more on myself rather than what people can do for me, like right, how you can listen to me, for example. So I said that's the part whereby sometimes I get a bit hard on myself because I feel that before I blame it on people don't listen to me, people listen to that podcast, I always like ask myself first, have I done enough? So that's why even when I moved to the studio about 6 or 7 months ago, I didn't go immediately to pitching with a sponsor. Reason being, because I was doing it virtually, I didn't have reels and everything, because cannot do reels with the virtual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I do it, it's not going to be as fun as how it is. So that 6-7 months, I dedicate that period just for me to improve my stats, for me to improve myself, go out on the reels, belajar, editing,
CapCut.
can learn CapCut from scratch, like whatever I can learn. I was also talking to macam some of our podcast friends who've been very kind to also teach me. So only if rasa aku feel comfortable whereby if I think I did my checklist, for example, I did like some things whereby I wanted to achieve. Only after I've achieved that, then I tell myself, then you go and pitch. Because before the sponsors ask me, this is your stats saja. I ask myself that, like, are you good enough to pitch to them? You see, like for example, when your reels are not there, you pitch to me, tapi you don't have reels. How are you gonna like promote me? So I do that to myself first. You see, and then I also know, like for example, when we started, also very very slow. The following was really really slow. Only like for example 300, 400, around that line, and then TikTok was even slower. So I told myself, okay, so the other target for myself is also within these 6 months, I need to hit the 1,000 on IG, 1,000 on TikTok, and I did it within that 6 months period. So macam, that's why I said macam it sometimes it can seem macam a bit slow, macam how come this podcast baru tapi macam so fast, but if I keep doing that, macam okay, of course I did think that way because we're normal humans, right? But I mean,
we also sometimes
can you be like
can't be helped lah, sis.
It cannot be helped. For example, and then you go into your ego mode macam, but my video nicer than yours, or I talk better than you, why cannot? So okay, I will allow myself like just a few hours to do that, but after that aku will just go into my work zone, more like macam less talking, more action kind of. So I will just like maybe engage more, or like for me right now, I'm trying to do a lot of engagement with my listeners. So that's why I feel that macam, even though it's not huge right now, but the community that I have, macam alhamdulillah. So for example, when I post something about the show, they will just throw me their honest opinions, the local show and everything. So I'm getting that kind of engagement, which I really appreciate. And I feel that human interaction, you cannot fake it. It's either they like you to talk to you enough, or they're just like, oh, she's just blabbering too much. So you just got to do it, but do it at your own pace. Be kind to yourself, but still macam set a goal whereby you know you can achieve it. So only lepas benda tu, then aku cakap, okay, I'm comfortable, I start to pitch to sponsors and everything.
Wow, KPI setting, self
Plenty
KPI
of golden nuggets there. Uish.
Let's,
Okay. So any last questions, Dami?
well, we can move on to the
We can
second
move on?
part,
Sure. Okay. So if you guys are interested to engage in part 2, stay tuned. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
SellingDistrict 65 is here to guide. Find your dream home with them by your side. For the best deals, you'll be in heaven. Call 876168867.
This episode is brought to you by SellingDistrict 65. Ladies.
Hello.
Ami has a very hot question. This one hot topic.
Okay, so before we started the show, I think you guys shared about the new rental scam links of people where they click and then they get scammed. Can you share a bit more about that? Perhaps what are the links and how exactly they scam?
Okay, so these links are normally obviously online on the internet. So when you go on Facebook, Facebook, they have groups.
Yes.
They have subcategories for groups. They have main groups and all that. So there are groups in Singapore room rentals, Singapore whole unit rentals, Indians in Singapore, French in Singapore, a lot, expats in Singapore. So all these groups, mainly the postings are about rentals.
Okay.
So a lot of accounts either get hacked or fake accounts. So every time, for example, I post on that account, I say, hi, I'm looking for a whole unit rental in Toa Payoh. One of these buggers, these scammers, will post inside there and say, hi, I have a whole unit for rent. And then they will say, click on this link.
Okay.
And it can look legit, Even I initially thought that was a real website. Because the website is like rentwithus.com / blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So I thought, how come got this kind of account? I say must be all these tenants do their own website to get some, I don't know, income or whatever. I'm not sure. So apparently, according to one of my clients, who is my rental client, told me that this is a scam because his friend got scammed into this, clicked onto the website. So there are listings on it and all that. You click, you will talk to someone, a bot or someone. I don't know where these scammers are based.
Okay.
And then they will say, oh, you just ran this unit. They give you videos and all, There's a walkthrough to it, blah, blah, blah.
Where do they get the videos? Is it from like those property guru they download off?
Correct.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately now in this digital era, you can just screen record and then remove the watermark. It's as easy as doing it in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then they post online. And then now with AI also, you can actually pretend take my face and then, AI that I'm talking like, oh, hi, this is the rental place and all that. So they do it all online, and then it's definitely much cheaper than going through the legit portals because, it is a scam.
Yeah.
And then they will say, oh, don't worry about the deposit and all that. To secure, you just need to do 500. Obviously, they cannot do 500. Yeah, you cannot do 5K, 10K. People will hold back, right? So they are clever. They put it as 500.
Okay.
500, you secure this unit for you. After gone lah your money.
Oh, so that means they transfer to these people.
Transfer.
The 500.
And then those who use credit card also, that's possible. You put in a credit card, it max out your entire credit card.
Oh, serious ah?
Yes. So we have to be very careful because as an agent myself also, when I saw that website, and my rental partners who saw the website, we actually thought it was legit. Until we realised here and there a bit funny lah. The website looks a bit shabby lah, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you steer through these things, when it's too cheap, it's really a scam. Some of them pretend to be direct landlords as well. Say, no lah, this is my own house, direct landlord, but I don't live in Singapore, I live in Australia. So the key I cannot pass to you, my neighbour has passed, you have to come Singapore, blah, 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 long story. They'll give you one long story. And you will kind of fall for it because it's cheap.
And believable.
Yeah.
Some of the long story you really buy in really like.
And they take a lot of effort, to a point that my tenant told me they won't reply you for like a couple of days to make it sound like, wow, they are legit. And they say, so sorry, I've been busy because got other people view. Yes, and they play this game whereby they will say, oh, that unit you want in Punggol, that block 100 in Punggol, no more already.
Okay.
Oh, no more. Yeah, because that day you never put 500.
I see.
Clever, right?
Oh,
So it's
the
a
whole
hook.
FOMO thing, and then the
Yes.
next time it's
Correct. That is what they do. So it's not like, oh yeah, this unit available for you. No. They will say, so sorry, someone already placed. Then they're like, really? And then you will fall for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. They go psych on you.
Okay, because my friend bought this domain lah. I won't mention the domain name because later
scammy.
because he planned to sell the domain anyway. But anyway, he told me that
thing is illegal.
he told me that he actually want to sell this domain to real estate agents because it's quite a catchy name lah, and it's straightforward lah. SEO confirm will rank top one. But he said that if let's say he want to furnish it with real estate content or whatsoever, he actually should get a CA license. Are you guys aware about this?
Anything that you want to post about real estate.
Mike.
Sorry.
Sawas is
Anything
Mike.
that you forgot lah. I got no. Anything that you want to post about real estate, you need to be licensed.
Okay.
You cannot. There's no going around it.
Okay, so
CA is very strict about it.
if that's the case, like for example, what Gabby shared just now, isn't there a place where we can actually look out through CA that this website is actually legit, where I can actually rent from someone?
Unfortunately, CEA you can only check on individual agents based on their name, their CEA number or handphone number. You cannot check on websites.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, but like my friend, he told me that he need to get the CA license just to make
because
sure.
you need to get your CA license because you need to display it
On the website,
on the website
itself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
You need to display,
so
but-
that means if agent owns this domain, this particular domain will be registered under that agent's information lah.
In a way,
the
actually
CA.
no, you just have to display because us as agents, our fortunately for SRI is the one who created for us each of our domain. It's linked to the main SRI. So, but if you want to have your own website, okay, there are 5 things that you need to display.
Okay.
Which is your CEA name, doesn't have to be your full name, but your CEA name, right? Your registration number, your handphone number, your agency, and your agency license number.
Okay.
So these are the 5 things that you have to display.
Okay, so that means if it's a website, it must be as such. But like just now Gabby shared also, because they claim that they are the landlord. This one is difficult for people to tell.
Cannot lah. This one is how CEA want to control if it's direct from landlord.
Oh.
Who can control direct landlords? Like, hey, I open my own website. I just want all direct landlords only to for sale by owner or for lease by owner, for rent by owner directly. But it's hard to control
unless they catch on that it's a scam and whatnot. But the thing is, these scammers, one thing I noticed, the website changes all the time. So when I go and see on these groups, right, it's all different website all the time. So I think when it gets shut, they open a new one. When it gets shut, they open a new one. Yeah.
Oh, so that means there has been instances where people complain about the site and then the site got shut down.
Yeah.
So people can just report the site and then the site just gets down, but then they will just
in a span of like a few hours, a new website comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, bro. Because coming from a developer perspective, right, I will definitely back up everything.
Yeah.
And restoring it to a website is actually not even a few hours. It's just gonna take me 3 minutes only.
And I think these scammers are very smart.
Tech savvy.
Yes. Not surprised, very young people.
I won't be surprised either.
Yeah, very smart young people.
Not saying I would do.
Yeah. People around you. Yeah. I mean, they won't share, right? They do these things. Yeah. And you'd be surprised these scammers talk on the phone and all that. They sound like Singaporeans. So don't be mistaken if people out there think that they are all foreigners. No, you'll be surprised. They are Singaporeans as well.
Okay.
However they run, I'm not sure. Where they run from, I'm not sure. Yeah.
And the numbers, how do they get the numbers? But
I don't even know when they transfer the
eSIM.
money. They transfer this money. So how come that they cannot refund it back? Because I know I have some tenants who are reporting to the police and all that, right? No, Dala. And then they transfer like
They
4
can
5K.
only report to the police lah. Nothing more than that if it's direct from landlord.
The police also cannot do much if it's a very small nominal amount. You just
4
Like
5K.
500.
4 5K already. Our tenant lost also cannot get back.
Yeah.
They just say, okay, we will investigate. But a few years later, not one phone call.
Yeah, definitely. It's always like that.
Yeah, and the money would have disappeared because they say, if the money is still in the account, so we consulted someone that works in the financial institution.
Yeah.
If the money is still in the account, you can claim back. But these people, the moment your money is in, they remove it
Yeah,
out
of course.
already.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't get the money back. It's as good as you won't get the money
cannot
back.
claw back lah.
no fault to the police lah, SPF. I mean, I'm sure you guys are trying. So
Yeah.
because this kind of stuff is always happening all the
Correct.
time.
And now,
Anyway,
like I say, it's digital, right? It's as good as I transfer to you.
it's gone.
It's gone.
No digital crimes nowadays.
Yeah.
And somehow now with all this
And
crypto,
people selling their numbers for
untraceable things you can buy also. Take the 500, buy one crypto.
So I think one way that for people who of potential victims or perhaps people who are actually looking for the place to stay, right? What they can do is pay now to IC number. I think that's one of the safest, right?
Correct. Make sure it's landlord IC number lah. Not even the agent.
IC number now also can sell to Tai Long.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Actually, they already have your IC number.
Yes.
Because I kena before, I got all this loan stuff. I say, can you please stop harassing me? You know what they reply me? What harass you? Then give me my full name, my IC number, my address, all this. You think I'm harassing you? You wait if you really want to find out what is harassment. Then I'm like, he has all my details and everything.
Yeah. Now you can sell your IC number, and a lot of these are people who are not aware, not exposed enough to these scams. Want quick money. This is based on my own intel. Okay, where they buy it from you for like $800 to $1,000 a month.
Oh,
for your PayNow link details.
Okay.
Yeah. So they approach older people, young people, and they say, "Hey, adik, you want or not $1,000 a month?" I
And
want
they use
lah.
your name, your
Yes,
number.
borrow your PayNow lah. And then adik, you just open another bank. Yeah, so they transfer all this scam money into your account without you knowing. Suddenly, police come and knock at your door.
Anyway, I don't
But
know.
you are implicit lah. You'll become.
Yes, I have a friend, unfortunately, who fell victim to this and had to serve.
Had to serve.
8
Prison
years at
imprisonment.
least,
Okay, we
usually.
can talk about this more in part 2.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, if you guys want to ask a lot more on real estate related question, rental related question,
Sell and buy
ask-
as well.
Yeah, ask like legit people, like
Yes.
Selling District 65, and you can contact them from the number
8761-6867.
Alright.
Okay, see you guys in the next part. Bye bye.